to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone.
That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives by this point of pale light.
We shall prevail.
Listen, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Welcome to the Internet Space Program.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another MoonDAO Town Hall. Good to see everyone. GM Pablo, happy World Cup Day.
Yeah. We're competing right now with the World Cup. So if you're joining, that means you must love MoonDAO very much, and we appreciate you for tuning into this versus the first game of the World Cup. But of course, people can watch the recording too. So yeah. But
who loves space more than football, soccer, whatever you call it?
Yeah,
they're here.
I do have it up here in the background, just to check in, just to see what the score is, see what's going on. But I'll try not to be distracted. Yeah, we've got a couple things on the agenda, so we'll do a network update, and then we are going to get into the decision. The decision the community is going to make about Frank's flight. So we gave an update 2 weeks ago on the status of things, and then we opened up a forum for the community to discuss between the options. And yeah, it was really interesting to see everyone's thoughts and perspectives. And we've done different calls with people in the community, and they've given us kind of different ideas or yeah. So the conversation's kind of matured. We still feel like the three options are kind of holding, but we'll get into that update after we go through what's been going on in the network over the past week. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we got some people shouting out space over soccer. So there we go. We got tight space, of course. But yeah, some network updates over the past week. Yeah, last week we had a great town hall with some project updates from our project leads. We have, I think, 10 active projects right now in MoonDAO, which is pretty awesome. Really cool to see what people have been doing. It's kind of wild that we're on, we've got stuff happening on, I guess, 4 continents. We've got North America, South America. We had the Luxembourg LDC kind of tabletop simulation in Europe, and we had the project in the Maldives going on. So truly a global space organization. Really, really awesome. If you missed last week's town hall, check that out. Really, really cool stuff going on. And there were a few calls to action too about help needed, or things that they're looking for. So if you're looking for a way to get involved with MoonDAO and contribute on a project, that's a great first step. Just check out last week's town hall. You can click around to the individual updates too if there's any one of these projects that particularly appeals to you. MoonDAO.com/projects too is where we list all the active projects going on. So just wanted to shout that out.
And soon we'll be funding another round of projects. So keep that in mind. If you go to that same link, MoonDAO.com/projects, you'll see the template. And yeah, don't procrastinate on it, because it does tend to kind of sneak up. And the deadline is the deadline. So if you miss that deadline, then you'll have to wait another 3 months. So yeah, don't hesitate to ask questions, to post in the forums and ideation, get feedback on your project.
Yeah, another $23,000 or so will be going out for projects. About 4,500 is the max request per project for a 3-month term. So yeah, funding's on the table. Deadline is exactly 4 weeks from today. We'll circle back to that. But yeah, you should be getting your post and ideation and sharing stuff there as it comes to you.
And I always mention, but the approval threshold is there's two variables on that. It's how many votes your proposal gets, but then also the cost of the proposal. So don't don't just hit full maximum budget. It actually does help the odds of your proposal passing if it's economical. If the costs are lower, it has a higher chance of passing. Just throwing that out there. A lot of people just go maximum, but it can hurt them. So just want to put that out there. We want to
request
fund
what you need to actually get your project done. Want to fund more projects. Want to fund, people request what they need and kind of make sense, and they're not just trying to backfill the max. It looks a lot better optically, I guess. Deadline, again, we'll get to that in a second, but it's exactly 4 weeks from today, and we'll circle back, Arobi. Lots of stuff happening in the network right now, lots of new listings in the marketplace, new jobs, lots of really cool stuff happening. There's a zero gravity flight happening in Europe this summer. There's a couple analog astronaut missions coming up throughout the year, a virtual lunar mission from Habitat Marte. Inspired 24 is doing a training class here in Houston. There's also like a rover simulation happening from LoonCo at a little bit more of an accessible price. So really cool to see new stuff happening in the network from our teams and from our citizens. So if you haven't given it a look in some time, go check it out. There's also smaller things like little swag items that like the Inspired 24 folks have listed. If you want to get a Inspired 24 patch or pin, that's in the marketplace. All the funds go direct to these teams. There's no like middleman or cut from MoonDAO. So yeah, if you make purchases on the marketplace, you're supporting cool organizations doing cool stuff. And there's training opportunities. There's really all sorts of stuff. We're trying to get more and more things in the network any given week. So just wanted to highlight this for everyone. So check out the marketplace. More citizens. Oh yeah.
Oh, just one thing is in the intro video you might hear a voice, the Capcom from Houston to the lunar surface, and that is Charlie Duke, who then also flew and walked on the moon. And so he's doing that zero gravity flight. We did that with Charlie back in 2024. I can't believe it's been that long. Wow. But yeah, it's pretty cool to meet Charlie and then also to go to zero gravity with him. He's 89 years old. He might be 90 at this point.
No, I think he's over 90 now. Yeah, right. I think he's.
Yeah, actually, no, he must be 90. So incredible that he's doing zero gravity flights. And yeah, so just.
Yeah, it's one of the coolest. One of the coolest projects I think we've done at MoonDAO was charting the entire zero gravity flight. And yeah, Tim Bailey's done tons of them. Titan as well. But yeah, the flights are so much fun. Really, the zero gravity experience is amazing. If you have the means, definitely do check out this opportunity because it is pretty unique. It's not just Charlie, but it's also Nicole Stott and an ESA astronaut. So you're flying alongside 3 astronauts, and I believe it's a bigger plane too. It's like a wider bodied plane, so you have more space even to, float around and flip and do all that fun stuff that we did on our flight. But yeah, check it out. Really cool, limited time kind of opportunity there, coming up soon. A couple more citizens in the network here over the past week. Shout out to Kirby. Well, Rena's not really a new citizen. She just minted a new citizen profile. But yeah, great to see Kirby in there. And we also have Claudia and Zach C, who just joined today. So I think we're up to 211 citizens. If you know anybody who wants to join, share your referral link, get them in the network. Want to see this network grow. We're also talking about an ability to gift memberships here in the near future. So that could be cool. Great idea that came from Titan on how we could improve the network, because we do have some magic links now where you can just kind of mint your profile magically, if you will.
Yeah, we've made a pretty big improvement, I think, in allowing people to become a citizen. So we kind of covered that last week, but yeah, that flow is very smooth now, and we got it working now where you can do it zero gas, everything's covered, if you have an invite link. So we're going to make it easy for people to buy citizenships for other people, and they'll be able to join the network with, no crypto experience necessary. So
Really excited for that. Yeah, it's our goal to make it, easier and easier for everyone to get onboarded and take advantage of, all these different coordination tools that we're building here. Couple community contribution spotlights. Thanks to Rosanna and Austin for submitting some community contributions over the past week. And this is just an opportunity for everyone watching here. Again, we have about $2,000, I believe, worth of USDC that we distribute each quarter. And that pot of money is going up for grabs here at the end of the month. So if you've done something that helps advance MoonDAO or helps advance MoonDAO's mission to increase access to space, you can submit that community contribution with some proof of work, and you'll get some monetary rewards, like I said, as well as increased voting power as we distribute those rewards at the end of the quarter. If you're watching now, definitely pop into the contribution circle on your dashboard if you're a citizen, and submit your independent space work to get rewarded. That's just an easy way to kind of get rewarded for things you're already doing to help MoonDAO and to help our mission. MoonDAO.com/contributions, or just on your dashboard. And yeah, like I said, there's more job openings, more marketplace listings, a couple things that have posted recently. There's a call for speakers at the Space Habitat event, focusing on analog missions here later this year. A couple positions here from the Inspired 24 as well, related to their treasury or strategic development. So yeah, these are just the new job listings. There's some others that are already posted on the jobs board. So if you haven't checked that out, if you're looking for volunteer work or part-time work, or even there's full-time remote work currently posted on the jobs board, check it out, moondao.com/jobs. Also working to get more job opportunities from our teams included in the network right now, and bring in more teams too. So really cool to see that activity. Yeah, Julio says, applications are welcome to the Space Habitat event if you want to speak on any of your analog astronaut experience there. So, yeah, just kind of the circle, bringing more talent in terms of citizens and more awesome projects with our tangible infrastructure on, balloons and sounding rockets and analog missions and zero gravity flights and building that economy. And it's kind of all feeding back into itself with the teams and citizens and rewards. And you can use those rewards for training opportunities. I hope people can see kind of the flow of things there. And yeah, back to our timeline here, as Pablo mentioned earlier, we have the Q3 project submission deadline coming up in 4 weeks. So that's July 9th. It should be hopefully on your guys' radar by now, on your calendars, but get those project ideas submitted into ideation. And last quarter, we had a quick review cycle, and by the next week, we were having people present those projects on our pitch day. The community votes on them. So really, it's a matter of, or you can present your idea, get it refined, present it to the community votes on it, and you get funded all within the time period of 2 to 3 weeks. Essentially, it's one of the easiest and fastest ways to get funding for your space project, your space idea. Truly, I mean, I don't think there's probably anywhere else where you could get access to funding like this. So yeah, keep that on your radar. Throw it in ideation. We want to see some really cool projects. We've had at least, I think, 10 submissions each quarter over the past 2 quarters. So looking forward to it. But yeah, so we'll have the submission deadline on the 9th, as well as the Q2 final reports. I think we'll have at least 5 or so projects that are wrapping up. Yep. If you're leading a project right now, hopefully you're working on your final report, and we'll have you present to the community for rewards at that point in time. And the next week on July 16th will actually be the project pitch day, where the new projects come in and present what they want to do. And yeah, the community decides. So community or space program buy-in for the community here. So yeah, that's all I've got here.
There's a lot of we've gotten pretty good at reviewing proposals pretty quickly, and yeah, the community weighs in at the end of the quarter to distribute rewards. So yeah, it's a busy time, that like little period in between quarters for MoonDAO. But yeah, it's if you're tuning in and you want to get involved, it's probably the best way to take on an active role within the DAO and get your ideas funded and be a part of MoonDAO. So check it out.
Totally. Yeah. Want to see more cool projects. Hopefully more, we highlighted them a little earlier, but we had a great global distribution there. Keep that going. Get some more hardware development too. Would be great to see. We'd also love to see some potential, profit making ventures or things that can recoup their costs. So if people have ideas for projects that could do that, that would be really great to see come forward as well.
Yeah, I mean, startups should consider, it's like non-dilutive funding for like an aspect of what they're doing. If there's some kind of tangible deliverable that impacts MoonDAO's mission, you can receive a small grant and non-dilutive funding, and it's kind of a win-win. So we want to help a bunch of different both commercial ideas, research, university projects, nonprofits, events. So we're very broad in our funding, but like Ryan mentioned, I definitely have, this is just my own personal bias more towards hardware and things that have a business model kind of attached to them. So we know that if we help get them off the ground, that they'll be able to sustain themselves. So
yeah, totally. But yeah, that's all I got for a network update essentially over the past week. Check out your dashboard. We have the awesome activity feed there now too that kind of rehashes some of these things. Do your weekly check-in as well to get liquidity rewards from MoonDAO, and submit your contributions, citizens. And if you're not a citizen, what are you waiting for? Go register. You can earn back the registration fee essentially with 1/4 of contributions at this point in time. So love to see register. If anyone has any questions about becoming a citizen or how to get involved, just shoot me an email. Talking to tons of citizens lately, or potential citizens, shoot me an email, ryan@moondao.com, and we can chat more. But yeah, looking forward to getting everyone more involved. We still 0-0 in the game?
No, 1-0. Mexico scored 1 goal.
Oh wow, okay. We should have the audio ready to go just to shout goal for 60 seconds.
Exactly, yeah.
But,
cool. Well, should we get into the overview flight update?
yes, let's switch gears. We can
all right.
bring Frank up here too.
Yeah. Hey, Frank.
Hey, Frank.
Hello, everybody.
Hey. All right, so I'm gonna just kind of go through context, maybe for people who missed the latest update 2 weeks ago. But I'm just gonna kind of breeze through this because this might be old news for some of you guys, but just want to make sure everyone is operating with the right context, and then we'll get into what's next. So, like many of you know, we raised a little over $170,000. We have, and I feel like this maybe has not come across to some people. I've gotten people that have reached out saying, wow, so sorry that Frank isn't going to be able to fly, that enough funding wasn't raised. That's just incorrect. We do have enough to send Frank on a stratospheric balloon, and there are multiple companies that have basically said that they will do it for the amount that we've raised. So we kind of have as the expression goes, a bird in hand, but our goal is to send 2 people to space. So this is really the decision by the community, is whether they want us to continue fundraising to expand opportunities, to get 2 seats, to maybe raise enough for a suborbital flight and not just a stratospheric balloon. So this is where the community comes in. We've talked to a bunch of different companies, and in the last 2 weeks, some of those conversations have matured more to kind of concrete proposals. We really think of this not so much as Frank buying a seat, but Frank partnering with the company that sends them, because there's a documentary that we're going to be filming. Frank obviously would he's a high profile person who would bring a lot of attention to this company as well. So we know the value that we're bringing as well, and so we've been talking to a lot of these companies in sort of a broader way than just sending Frank to space, but kind of working together to make this as amazing and impactful as possible. But yeah, a big kind of question mark right now is, although we have enough funds, we don't know exactly who to go with, because a lot of them are still in kind of like the testing and building and iterating cycle, and they're gearing up for commercial flights, but none of them have proven hardware at the moment. Even with suborbital companies, Virgin Galactic is working on a new spacecraft. New Shepard is no longer flying, so there's kind of a small little midwinter break in human spaceflight that shall resume shortly. But yeah, it's an interesting period right now in the industry, is kind of one of our main findings. So I'm going to fast forward here a little bit, because there's 3 paths forward. We presented this to the community 2 weeks ago, opened up a forum discussion. It's been really interesting to see the conversation. People are weighing in about Path A, which is committing right now to 1 seat for Frank, ending the fundraiser. Path B is continuing with the fundraiser, still securing some of the seats we've talked about. We've been negotiating how we do deposits with different carriers, how we can reserve seats now in a way that that gets Frank to space as soon as possible, but still gives us the capability of raising more for a 2nd seat for the community, and we're just kind of generally expanding our options. And then Path C, of course, is to just refund the community if Path A or Path B doesn't seem right. So yeah, those 3 are kind of holding. And so we're going to be presenting this as a concrete proposal on the MoonDAO website, and that should be live soon. But it'll basically have the 3 paths that we've talked about here, but there'll be more detail, of course, about exactly how this will work, and we'll continue to answer questions in the Discord. We can also answer maybe some questions here if people have questions that they want to ask, and yeah, so that's all I've got, and I want to kick it over to Frank too, to share some thoughts about, I guess, the past 2 weeks and how conversations have been going. And yeah, I think one of the most positive things is everyone that we talk to really wants Frank to fly, and so they're all like trying to help basically put their heads together to figure out how we can support Frank, and so it's been really positive. But yeah, Frank, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to do a shout out to everybody in chat. Thank you for all the kind words, and I really appreciate that. So I have said in the Discord channel, I'm not going to express a preference for A, B, or C. I'm really grateful for all the support I've gotten, and I will be very happy with whatever the community decides. One thing that draws me to MoonDAO is the democratic nature of MoonDAO. I really like that. And also, I think it's fair that those who have contributed make the decision of where we go from here. So I know that there was a question from Tim, what does Frank want? I want to experience the overview effect, obviously, and I do believe it can be experienced on a balloon flight or a launch, rocket launch. But I think the third option would be acceptable. We've given it a great, we've had a great time, and it's just been very, very supportive and enlightening to have this journey. And interestingly, I'll just close by saying I think Pablo, Ryan, and Ron Rosano, who helped us on this, and Mary Liz Bender, I don't think we felt like a month after the campaign would be perhaps the most interesting part. But we've talked to all these vendors, we've even talked to people in China about what they're offering, and we've learned so much. And also, I think we've started to see a shift from how can we get a flight to how can we partner with you. And the final thing I will say is what I've said before. This is all really about the overview effect. It's really about bringing the overview effect down to earth. My flight would not only be a realization of a lifelong ambition, it would be much more than that. It would be part of bringing the overview effect down to earth, bringing overview effect into the culture as opposed to surface thinking. Overview thinking is all about cooperation, collaboration, working together, as opposed to division and conflict. And I really appreciate all of you, everybody who has given of their time, their energy, and their funds, because you're giving it to a cause that's really, I think, super important for our world, our planet, and every living thing on it. So whatever you decide, I will be grateful, and I'll be very, very pleased with it. And it's just been a tremendous experience. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Frank. Yeah, a lot of support coming in from the comments. Stargazer says Frank is so humble. No one deserves to go to space more. Of course, I agree. I think a lot of people agree. I think this is from Arobi. And in a sense, you should come down to Brazil, of course. Yes.
Yeah. And I do, sorry, I just want to say a few words for Ryan and Pablo and Ron and Mary Liz, who've been part of this month-long effort. You guys, you have been tremendous. I want everybody to know that we've been meeting every day. We've been working on this every day to give the greatest possible options, the best possible options to the community. And you're tireless, and I really appreciate that. So everybody in the MoonDAO community should really know how much effort you've put into this, and of course, how much you put into MoonDAO in general.
Failure is not an option, Frank.
Failure is not an option. Yeah, I think we said that early on.
Yeah. I mean, I think no, it's well, selfishly, it's been a very fun journey because I get to hang out with you, Frank. But then also, we really have learned quite a lot about the state of kind of human spaceflight. And I feel like some of the insights that we've gained, I don't know if anyone's really done a snapshot of the entire industry in the same way that we have over the past month, especially like globally. So I think we've learned a ton, and I think there's it's interesting too, because some of the companies that we've spoken to, had not heard of some of the other ones because we're talking to companies in different parts of the world that usually kind of don't interact with one another or don't necessarily see each other as maybe competitors or something like that. So yeah, it's interesting to see kind of their reflections on this as well, and I think now they have a tangible goal because a lot of them do want to fly you, Frank, but I guess we're in a great position because we can review all these different companies and come up with the best sort of decision framework to get you up there. And we're not just doing it alone; we're doing it with the community. We're not the decision makers, so it's kind of an interesting way to kind of make sense of the current environment for human spaceflight, and to do so with 150 of your closest friends, Frank, at the moon within the MoonDAO community. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
But I guess in terms of next steps, we're trying to get it live, the vote potentially by tomorrow. It would be on the same kind of voting platform where the leaderboard currently lives, I suppose, unless we need to put it elsewhere. But we'll obviously send out an announcement once that's live. We want to get it up to the community, get it out to the contributors so they can cast their votes here soon. We can find our, next steps in the direction. And yeah, I think we'll leave it up for at least 6 days, if not a week, essentially.
Yeah, about a week. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we can boil down the options again. Essentially, it's okay, just commit to sending Frank on a stratospheric balloon ride with the funds that we have available as an option A. Option B would be, hey, we want to keep going for more, whether that means sending Frank on a suborbital rocket flight or sending a +1 alongside Frank on a stratospheric balloon. We would need to raise more funds. So the community would decide if we want to open that back up, revive the idea of a second seat, and there would be another campaign essentially to bring more money into the project. And the third option would be to scrub the mission, throw in the towel, and refund contributors essentially.
Yeah, and so I guess there's two things that come to mind around this decision. I don't want to put my thumb on the scale too much in terms of how we come to a decision as a community, but I guess I do want to say that so in the same way that we've kind of evolved our thinking around like this is Frank buying a seat, instead it's really Frank partnering with an organization to bring them into the story of Frank's life journey and kind of the culmination of his work, and raising the profile of the overview effect, which at the end of the day is what a lot of these carriers are selling. They're selling the overview effect to people. And they're using those terms, and they're recognizing that Frank is the person that gave them the language to be able to articulate what they're doing. And so because a lot of the hardware is still in development, we're kind of in the early phases of this, but it's starting to look almost like a prize or something like that, where the community is helping fund this to send Frank, but at the same time, they're also accelerating progress in human spaceflight because they're giving, they're putting real money up that says, hey, whoever can demonstrate that they can, fly Frank safely and return humans back up to the stratosphere or suborbit, because currently no company can do that. I mean, not including SpaceX, but they're in a league of their own, I guess, and much more expensive. They can't do it for the price that we're looking for. But anyways, yeah, it's so you're not just supporting Frank to go to space, you're also helping to accelerate progress in the industry by creating demand. It's like creating demand for a future thing, and then that helps accelerate development. So that's one thing that I think is very interesting about kind of the model that we have. But then also we get to use kind of the collective intelligence of the organization. And so, yeah, we have this vote, but we're also kind of considering what are other ways of using kind of like the intelligence of the organization. And so we've been thinking a lot about prediction markets and what does that look like? Could the community try to predict which companies are going to be the ones that are going to develop their hardware first? So these are kind of different ideas that we've been tinkering with for a bit that may be applicable here. And I just wanted to mention those. But yeah, I guess similar to Frank, I'm very happy with any of the outcomes. I mean, if we lock in a seat and we say, okay, option A, we're done fundraising, I think it's still, you know, a very, very great outcome because, you know, we've succeeded in being able to reserve a seat for Frank and have him go up to space. If we do option B, I think it only strengthens our position and expands our options. Of course, there's maybe some opportunity cost or something like that the community should kind of weigh, you know, and that's going to be up to the supporters. And then option C, I think, just really keeps us honest. So if people don't like option A or option B, there's always the kind of abort and terminate. But yeah, so I think I just want to give some of my reflections about where we are and kind of the decision in front of us. But at the end of the day, it will be all the supporters that decide. So.
There are some comments in the YouTube chat or in the stream here coming through, like, you know, why stop fundraising if no one is ready to fly yet? Tim says that. I mean, it's a good point. I mean, don't want to color things either, but essentially if carriers are not, commercial carriers within this kind of budget are not ready to fly in the next 1 to 2 to 3 year kind of time frame in some cases, it's a valid question. I'd encourage, you know, this continuous dialogue to happen in the Discord channel. We have that pinned post about Frank's flight where people have already been discussing this over the past couple weeks. But as you guys have more thoughts and as the vote's live too, feel free to continue discussion on the options and what you think the best path forward is for this mission, for MoonDAO, for Frank. Yeah, don't let it. Don't just keep it here in the ephemeral YouTube. You can keep the dialogue going more in the Discord channel. But yeah, the process for the +1 decision. Yeah, I guess this is only really relevant, obviously, if we go for the other or the second option, which would be to continue fundraising. The whole leaderboard and the +1 candidate selection process is most relevant to that. We have a leaderboard, so essentially for people that are contributing to send Frank to space, they are the ones that like this. They get to make the decisions in terms of what we're doing at this fork in the road, but also who should be part of the candidate pool that flies alongside Frank. So what can you do to improve your chances to fly with Frank? I mean, if we do open up fundraising again, it would really be about, you know, kind of rallying people in your community and your network to contribute to support this mission of civilian space flight. And in turn, the people that contribute can vote for you, you know, not speaking to you, Stargazer, and specifically, but to anyone in the community who is rallying to be part of that second seat or selection process, just getting people to back the mission and to back you as a candidate to fly alongside Frank. And that is if we do reopen fundraising, essentially. If the community goes for option 1, that second seat would essentially be off the table unless there's some random Hail Mary that comes out of nowhere that allows us to fly a second person. But essentially that's what the vote boils down to, is do we just want to fly Frank or do we want to try for more?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yeah, I guess one more thing is we are still in active conversation with a lot of the carriers, and you know, again, even in the last 24 hours, we've gotten kind of updates around different offers, and so, you know, it's kind of continuously evolving, and we're we'll keep the community updated throughout the vote if there's any information that comes in that like, okay, wow, well, this is like an entirely new option that we hadn't considered. So yeah, it's a live thing. It's a live decision. So we'll do our best to communicate how things progress.
Yeah, Astro Sandali is asking if we can reach out to flight partners for possible partnership to send Frank to space. I might have joined a little late with the World Cup, I think you said already, but yeah, we've been discussing with a lot of these different carriers about how it might look more like a partnership essentially, as opposed to solely being a paying customer, but ways we can work together to increase opportunities for, well, Frank and for potentially that +1. And also, depending on how the vote goes and what the next steps are, we could consider reaching out to other potential partners or entities that could help make this happen as well. But that's TBD.
Right. Great. Any other reflections, guys?
Frank?
Well, no, again, really appreciate the support. And this is really what drew me many years ago to the space community. We're united in a cause. We support one another. And we all see what we're working on is the next step in human evolution. I don't know what could be more exciting or relevant than what we're doing. And everybody who's been involved in this particular project, you're really part of a much bigger historical moment. And so I hope everybody here appreciates that you're doing something quite profound.
Yeah, we're at a very interesting inflection point in human progress, and
We are.
yeah, it's like every day there's some kind of groundbreaking news, not just in space, but AI, and there's just so much progress happening all at once. It's hard to keep track of. So we're in for very interesting times, and yeah, I mean we've talked about this a lot, but yeah, I think it's easy for a lot of this progress to cause division and fear versus kind of like the awe and unity or like global unity around some of these challenges. And so, yeah, it's yeah, I think it's an important time to get your ideas out there, Frank. And we've already seen a lot of progress with that. I mean, the Google Trends is a hockey stick. It's yeah, if anyone can look this up, if you type overview effect in Google Trends, you'll see kind of a massive increase. So pretty cool.
Yeah, we're definitely going in the right direction, and we need to take advantage of that. And now's the time. There won't be any better time in the future, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, I think that's a good note to end on. And yeah, we look forward to seeing everyone's input on the vote. So look out for that. It should be live within the next couple days, and then we'll get to voting. So yeah, thanks everyone.
Thanks everybody.
Awesome. Thank you all. See you next week.
Bye. Our world is not in good shape. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that we, as the crew of Spaceship Earth, we're kind of doing a terrible job of being the crew.
All the astronauts say when they get up top, they're like, wait, what are we doing?
Yeah. But explain to me what the overview effect is.
You know, it is absolutely gorgeous. Overview effect is when you're looking through that cupola, it's like the bay window looking down on the Earth, and you see just that, the Earth as it exists with the whole universe in the background. You see the thin blue line of the atmosphere, and then when you're on the dark side of the Earth, you actually see this very thin green line that shows you where the atmosphere is. And what you realize is every single person you know is sustained and inside of that green line, and everything else outside of it is completely inhospitable. You don't see borders, you don't see religious lines, you don't see political boundaries. All you see is Earth, and you see that we're way more alike than we are different.
Booster ignition and liftoff.
The Artemis mission illustrated the difference between surface thinking and overview thinking. Seen from the surface of the Earth, we perceive difference, division, conflict. But from above the surface, we perceive unity, oneness, interconnection, and cooperation. This is an inflection point where humanity has a choice between the two. And our decision will influence life on Earth and off-world for millennia.
When I think about Frank floating and experiencing Earth out the window of a spaceship, I am totally humbled by that.
Frank White is somebody who's devoted the last 30 plus years to not only explaining what the overview effect is, but more importantly, what the implications of that shift in perspective is for our planet.
We don't often think about the ripple effect of stuff that we do. So those of you thinking of supporting Frank, it's not just about him going to space, it's the ripple effect from that experience when he comes back, and that's why we should send Frank to space.
We're inviting people to go beyond making a contribution and join the mission. It won't just be a flight, but also support for bringing the overview effect down to Earth. So join us in sending Frank to space.
Send Frank to space!
And bring him back.
It's time for us to fly Frank to space.
Let's get Frank to space.
Let's send Frank to space.
We're here to say, send Frank to space.
Send Frank to space! Send Frank to space!
Send Frank to space.
Get Frank to space. Send Frank to space.
To engage in supporting the project of sending my friend Frank White into space.
Let's get this guy to space. Forget about me. Let's get Frank White to space. Tell them one more time. Let's send Frank to space.